There's something inherently wrong with the human personality, he says. There's an evil side to it. One of the things that horror stories can do is to show us the archetypes of the unconscious. We can see the dark side without having to confront it directly. Also, ghost stories appeal to our craving for immortality. If you can be afraid of a ghost, then you have to believe that a ghost may exist. And if a ghost exists, then oblivion might not be the end. Stanley Kubrick, Newsweek 1980. I pieced these notes together, researched for a game we built for CBS, and in the aftermath, placed them online in rough shape. My good friend, a Mayan archaeologist anthropologist, provocatively sent me an email regarding The Shining's end date, July 4, 1921. He detailed a reference found in a book of folklore. A chance bolt of lightning had struck on that date a monument to Chief Cornstalk of the Shawnee. Being the second time the monument was struck by lightning, the day became the date of the infamous curse of Chief Cornstalk, and from then had entered the folklore of the Ohio Valley. A considerable feat of Kubrick's is the mirroring of this lightning flash, with the ending photos flash. For the full story, read this essay to its end. I was skeptical, inquisitive. How could would have Kubrick knowingly plucked this stated factoid to end his grandest film? His answer was sharp. I'm an archaeologist. Do you know the chance and exact date referencing a supernatural occurrence associated with a dead Amerindian chief is a coincidence in a film littered with native references? It's nil. Didn't you tell me the film is filled with doubles and mirrors? And so I immediately sent him screenshots from the film of what I thought looked like Mesoamerican logographs, and he replied, "Yes, these are ik and Kant symbols. Good work. No one has ever found these before. Now, don't you see? This is all reference material. Kubrick was like a master professor in something that you're going to dislodge and unearth. I'll cite the proof." And so the organization of these notes began. The Shining is the most complex film ever made. It isn't a film about any one theme. It's composed of many. Isolating any of them dilutes Kubrick's intent. Seeing how they thread and overlap is key to understanding its complexities. All of its themes merge. Native American versus Manifest Destiny. Mirroring versus doubling. Linear versus continuum. Text versus visual. Text versus spoken word. Fable versus myth. Cartoon versus realism. I'll focus through film's effect on the brain, neurophenomenology, or to be explicit, cognitive scientist Daniel Dennett's definition of heterophenomenology. But this is confusing. On one hand, film is structural, which simply means there is an order to the storytelling. Gesture, movement, word, reaction. On the other hand, there is the audience's perception of these structures, which is phenomena. A door is opened, a room is entered. While very meticulous, many of Kubrick's structures are illusions. Not just illusions of time, which are necessary for an audience to experience any movie, but illusions of space and meaning. Look deeper, it is canon. Poe appears to jog towards himself as the wheel switches direction in 2001. Sideways lighting switches from stage lighting in the derelict casino battle in Clockwork. Kubrick is playing with a specific phenomena of threshold. It emerges in full blast in The Shining, as things like doors or windows seem correct but aren't possible. Space distorts around key locations, with corresponding, meaningful mirrors of each arrayed throughout. Kubrick directs rigorously to ensure we never see these illusions and mirrors, or doubles, easily. He keeps his frames carefully aligned. He adheres to both subliminal and liminal horizons, and focuses attention to light qualities. He even carefully navigates colors, shades and patterns. Why? Well, if you keep the view very stable, you lull an audience into thinking they're looking at a pure reality. If you manage color hue unlike almost every other color film ever made, auto settings on cameras shift this with white balance, light outdoors is bluer, incandescent bulbs are more yellow, then the film seems even more real. All of these elements are perceived somewhat unconsciously by the audience, and Kubrick knowingly may have paid attention to as many details as possible to create films that are the deepest penetrations of the brain, the sharpest, subliminal cortex impulses. This apparently stable method allows Kubrick to then play endless games with your unconscious. Not obviously. Very, very subtly. By playing a kind of cognitive game out of spatial distortion, contrasted imagery, wordplay and mirroring, while breaking certain rules of time, Kubrick jump-starts the medium and its goals. He invents perhaps another genre, and strengthens the potential for film to become a language all its own. Along the way, paradoxes emerge. Our accepted basic grammar of time in storytelling becomes in Kubrick's hands a tool or syntax that's applied in unexpected ways. You know how time works typically in film. A character says, "I'll meet you at 3. And then we cut to see him waiting at a train station, and the clock already says 3:23. The audience is immediately anxious. Kubrick avoids these conventions and instead shows time overlapping, interweaving, both linearly and non-linearly. A simple example is the ending, which inversely ends in the past with its date, July 4, 1921. When rules like time are distorted subtly, subliminally, the audience has many more opportunities to explore the story. The film even seems to operate backwards, which means the film is a mirror of itself through time. The Shining is a film meant to be seen both forwards and backwards.